Good afternoon. I'm Katie Kunkel here at the 5th anniversary of the Rebel Rally live show presented by Kia. I'm here with Matthew Johnson, and we, for the first time this year, are out on course. Matthew's been out at one side of the course, I've been out at another, and now we've met here at Immigrants Pass. And because we're 6 feet apart, you can see behind us there's a long road. It's hard to see in the smoke today, unfortunately, but the road just goes all the way down into the valley, and our base camp is down there. So we're about, what, 3 miles from base camp, do you think?
Yeah, 3.5, 4 miles from base camp, sure.
So we came up here, we did some recon to get reception, obviously, and we found this spot. You can see that drone shot earlier showed our other live vehicle. We have 3 live vehicles this time, and soon we're going to go over and meet the live crew. But before we do that, let's talk about the competition, Matthew. What did you learn when you went off with Will today?
What I learned about today, so at the beginning of the day, we gave the description about it being as day one. It's easy in places and it's moderately difficult in others. What gets difficult is that there's lots of roads that go maybe the direction you think you need to go. So it's easy.
Whys.
The first part of the day was very easy to take. And in fact, I had GPS. I was following my map and still went the wrong fork and had to turn around and come back and go the other fork. So easy to get turned around this morning, which is going to play some head tricks on some of the teams and be quite difficult.
When we talked to Emily earlier, we asked her, what is the word of the day, Emily? And she said, north. And we asked her what that meant, and she said, you have to know where north is on this particular day, and it's designed to be easy, especially when it comes to black checkpoints. And the reason they've made the black checkpoints slightly easier today, and they do that by having a wider radius, or Emily puts them in places that are topographically slightly easier. And there's a reason. Every year, competitors often feel like they're not good enough to get a black checkpoint. And so this was almost a decrease to the barrier of entry. And tonight, there's going to be a lot of high-fiving of people who have never got a black checkpoint. And the idea behind that is to give them confidence. And that means that tomorrow they'll have the guts to go out and give it a shot, which I think strategically from Emily's point of view was pretty clever.
I'll say, can I add a piece about
Sure.
the black checkpoints? So our green checkpoints, massive flag, a person there, easy to find. You click your tracker at the flag. A blue checkpoint could be quite a bit harder, but you still click your tracker at the blue marker. A black checkpoint, there's no marker, there's no person, there's nothing there. So this is why they're so challenging. It's like you literally walk around in some place and you look at your map and you're like, I guess I'm here, and you go for it. So the radius we're talking about are these circles drawn around where the checkpoint actually is. The closer you are to nailing it, the more points you get.
Yep. And it's nice that it was slightly easy, because this day was designed around the heart of Nevada. Or Nevada. Is it Nevada?
Nevada?
Nevada? Nevada?
No, I think all of us non-Nevadans say Nevada.
Nevada.
But we get corrected constantly.
Will, what do you say?
Nevada.
Okay.
It's Nevada.
It's Nevada?
It's Nevada.
Okay.
But it
So the whole
feels
day,
weird.
the whole day was around the beauty of the Wild West. And I mean, you can see where we are right now. This is some kind of Wild West. What did you learn about the Wild West today?
It's very wild out here.
Wait, what about that little thing that we
It's
told you to
West.
shoot and you didn't?
It's just like my beast. Is the
Stop.
wild
Your
West
accent is
is
just
the
as bad
beast
as
in
my
my beast.
accent. I'm leaving.
love-
I'm leaving.
I do love it, and I'm better at listening and understanding it now as well.
Okay, hold it. Wait a minute. Let's go and see one of our partners.
Okay.
And so we can fight
and
about
we'll
our
group,
accents.
We'll regroup in the interim.
Wagon. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Justin from Wagon Tech, a company that's been in the Bay Area of California for over 37 years. As an automotive lifestyle company, we provide products that give you power, comfort, and convenience for the road ahead. Power means having a hot cup of coffee no matter where you are. Comfort is enjoying your trip. Convenience is having the tools you need when you need it. With Wagon Tech, you'll always be road ready.
So in the competition today, you often see the people that things are working out for jump to the top of the leaderboard. It's been really exciting for us watching it. Hopefully you're watching it at home. Remember, it's scoring.rebelrally.com is the quickest way to get there. We've got 2 groups in 4x4, Group A, Group B, and then the X-Cross is Group C. So moving back there, we have one specific team has caught my eye really, and it's Susie and Maria. They're a new team.
Past.
They just went past. That's why they caught my eye. They literally just drove by. But if you're looking at the scoring, they are a new team together. They didn't know each other very well. They kind of last minute kind of came together.
A week ago.
Yep.
Yep.
Susie comes from Iridium. She's a professional at a high level and takes the competition really seriously. But it's abnormal for a team as green as they are as a team to be doing as well as they are today. So I'm excited about that. This proves that literally anybody can show up here. Not anybody, but someone that works very hard and studies very hard can show up here and do really well.
Susie's got a mastermind, but then we've also got to note that Maria Guitar, who's competed before, she competed with her mother yesterday. Here we've got the scoring up on
last year.
Oh, yesterday. Okay. Well, the scoring's up. See, here we go. In what are we at here? Shelby Hall and Penn.
Well, we're looking. Okay, so we're looking at X-Cross right now.
They are crushing it at 76. That's fantastic. And
Yeah.
the Bronco Sport.
Now,
and Rachel. Okay, so here's an interesting thing. Rachel Ridenauer and Christy Levy, they're in the electric PHEV.
Mitsubishi.
They're allowed to stop for gas on course. So that's interesting to note this year. The electrified vehicle have special compensation to power up. And then the Rivian today, they're allowed to, at a certain checkpoint, call back to base camp and decide whether or not they have to come off to recharge. And today they chose to. They didn't yesterday because of their, what's that word, braking? Regenerative braking.
Regen braking, yes.
So
yes.
because of the regenerative braking, all that energy went back into the vehicle and they didn't have to come back. Today they chose to. And the scoring department has to mark a timestamp when they come off course, and they're allowed 1.5 hours to recharge. Then they go back on course and they can continue the competition. So that's interesting to note for the electrified component. But what I was saying about Maria Guitar, she crushed it with her mom last year, and she's a fantastic navigator. Who's going by now? Oh, that's
I want to add something while we're looking at the scores. Everyone should be clear. We're almost done with day 1, stage 1. But we're not done. They're not back to base camp. Some of the teams that are further down that list, that's not where they're finishing the day. Exactly. They may be out just taking their time. They're going to use every minute available to them today to make sure they absolutely nail things. So as it currently sits, if you really want to know where a team lies, you need to look over to the right and see how many checkpoints they've gone through. That might help tell the story a little bit before we tabulate everything at the end of the day.
Yes. And I was talking to your wife earlier about, I like a visual to sort of know what I'm thinking about in terms of the course. And we had a look at it, and today it's a bow tie.
It is.
So it's that kind of shape. And when you were saying earlier, it's like a spaghetti bow tie, a really messy one.
Yeah.
And so some of these teams may well be coming in because they've only got blues and greens and they're over it and they want to get back and have a shower. So,
True.
you know, you never know until the end of the day. But it's so fun to look at the scoring and get an idea of who's getting what and who's going for the extra. Look at that view.
I have an interesting story about the bow tie. And if we see it on YB for the time lapse of today, I think we got a graphic for that here pretty soon. You'll see how 2 large loops kind of connect. So you're watching the teams go up, and they'll be headed back, and they'll be headed over. And in this little connector area, and that I'll try to point out when it's clear on the screen, I have an interesting story about that. We drove through there today. The road is often quite soft with big rocks standing out and kind of like, it looks like a motor grader just drove through there and created a road one day, and there's these edges and such. Anyway.
Did a motor grader go through there?
Yeah, it must have at some point. But the thing is, the way the desert changes is different from the rest of the world. Like, rain doesn't happen here that much. It could look like this next year.
Okay.
You know?
So what did you see?
Here's my point. Chatting with Emily and Nicole, we're in Princess and the Total Chaos Machine, camping, doing pre-running, and they experienced something quite shocking. and they were in their tents asleep, and along came an earthquake.
The biggest earthquake ever recorded in the state of Nevada, where we're standing right now. We're close to it. So, point of interest.
I was trying to make it sound like a coyote, but it was an earthquake, right? It was a surprise. Did the suspense work? I don't know. But seriously, we drove through there and we found some surveying equipment that's set up right now. There's a solar panel, some maybe batteries in a box, a buried bucket where I assume the real sensitive instrument is for detecting seismic activity, and then a couple of antennas like beaming away the information. But Emily's retelling of the story, but she said she couldn't stand up. She couldn't get out of her sleeping bag. She's literally on all fours, and you could hear the racket of the earthquake traveling down across the valley. It sounded like not very cool to actually experience.
No,
cool to look
scary.
back on, but quite scary.
Glad for a peaceful day today. Look at that shot of the vehicle we're going to go and have a look at shortly. We have a new member of our team that we want to introduce you to shortly. So I think we should have a look at one of our commercials or videos, and we'll go and meet Chris Walker very soon. Welcome back. So now I'm next to our live vehicle, which is finally in the field, with our resident trainer. Chris Walker is a Rebel trainer, and I'd like to introduce him right now because he's been here the whole time, but today he's going to give us some information on safety. Because we're out in the field for the first time, we have to make sure we're as safe as all the competitors, and we have to pass technical inspection as well. So welcome, Chris. We'll go look at the car shortly, but we're so glad to have you here.
Perfect.
Tell us a little bit about the training you do with Emily.
So I run a company up in British Columbia, based in Canada, and we met Emily Miller probably 3 or 4 years ago at one of the Overland rallies, one of the Overland Expos down in Flagstaff, Arizona. We got to know her, worked together a little bit out on some of the training course, and slowly over a couple of years she's evolved us into part of the Rebel training program. And then here we are.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So I'm going to meet you over at the vehicle shortly, and until I get over there, before I go over there, I would like to introduce you to the live crew, because they are the team that is getting us live in the most wildly remote locations. This is Paige, our drone pilot, who's flying the drone while talking. How are you doing, Paige?
Doing fantastic.
What do you miss about last year?
Oh my gosh, I miss Cease so bad.
Oh, hi, Cease.
I'm so glad to be in this Rome-built van right now. But Cease, I miss you. So stoked that we can be here with your fantastic product.
And now I'm going to ask you to climb in there, Will. Don't trip. And see Nathan and Tracy and Caleb, who are running all the ops in the van. Hi, guys, and thank you for everything you do. Now that looks really cool in there, doesn't it? It's just fantastic. They built this out a week ago, and then they drove down here, up here, wherever they came from, San Diego. Let's meet the driver, Larry. The live drive had its day 3, which we call on the rally the most difficult day, on day -1. And we had technical difficulties with our vehicle. But Larry fixed it, got it sorted, and got here on time to one live show, which I just think is phenomenal. Welcome, Larry. We're so stoked you're here.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And Larry is also the husband of our founder, Emily Miller. One quick question I'm going to ask you, Larry. This vehicle is totally tricked out with Rome built. Can you just quickly take us through the Rome built gear on this vehicle?
Sure, yeah. If we pop on the other side, you get a pretty good look at the setup we got. On the back, we got a nice bumper from Rome Built. They installed that. We got a jerry can holder over here, the ladder, and as you come up the side of the brake thing here, you can see also
the rack. The utility value of the rack is huge. We got a lot of the equipment from the live team up there, Max Tracks, and then also our personal gear. And so there's a skid plate out front underneath, and then we also have a surf tube. Every once in a while we'll get down there and put some hooks on there and run some surfboards down the side of this. And then we have the front bumper out front that they've dialed us in with, so really nice.
And I can tell you, Larry has one hell of a quiver. Is it called a quiver?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Larry. We're so stoked you
Absolutely.
made it.
Glad to be here.
So that is our live drive vehicle with all the technical equipment. Over here is our, here comes the vehicle off the road, Will. Anna Lewis and Andrew Schaefer, woo! Team 148, both veterans. Not sure how they're scoring today, we'll have to look that up. This is Matthew Johnson's vehicle. He does a lot of recon for us. He has total chaos suspension and can go into those hard to find places and make sure that we can get the live drive vehicle up there. So it's great to have Matthew, and Matthew and Will can also go out and catch up with folks that we can't get to. Now, I just heard a motorcycle come over the pass, and our course director, Jimmy Lewis, is over here, and he's going to give us a little bit of intel. First of all, he's a desert rat. Is that insulting to call someone a desert rat?
From someone from South Africa, yes.
Jimmy, thank you for joining us. I know you're really busy out there, but can you tell us a little bit about the course today, but also tell us about this epic landscape and this land that you live in and love so much.
Yeah, so today we're in, I'll call it like central Nevada, central western Nevada. Mm-hmm. And the course today was kind of a figure eight in shape. The girls kind of went out and up into the Monte Cristo Mountains, which are like, actually all the mountains around here are really colorful. I mean, even just now we were talking about why the dirt's white, why it's brown. I don't know exactly why, but I know it's like that.
Yeah.
This morning they were riding in like kind of green and blue dirt and
cool.
some pretty neat stuff. But today was, it was I think what we've started doing with the Rebelle is making the first day actually pretty difficult. Like telling them, look, you're going to have to navigate, and it's not going to. We're not going to ease you in anymore. That's what we have a prologue for. So today's roads were very difficult to find. It's not like when you're up high and you can look out and you can see the roads. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when they had to make decisions on roads, the roads were up higher, or they wandered and they were in chaparral and stuff, and you couldn't see them. So you had to be really good with your plotting, learning where your distance goes.
Do you think the smoke affected it?
The smoke? No, not so much. It wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad this morning. But then again, I was up before it was light, so I don't know. It's easy for me to find when I'm using a GPS, but
fair enough.
But if you use your map and mark your distances and stuff and mark the turns in the roads, it doesn't matter if there's smoke or not. You can follow it, right off.
Heading and distance doesn't lie.
Yeah, and the heading because the map, as long as you know which way to turn the map, which way to point the map, the lines on the map will match the lines on the ground. So so there's some visual aspect to it. So
you know the maps, they're in your head, like they're clearly planted in your head. So talk us through. Emily comes out at the beginning of every year and says, right, Jimmy, what are we going to do this year? How do you pick? Do you take her to certain areas that you scout? Like, how does that process roll out in terms of your knowledge and then her intention?
So typically it's like, okay, we're starting here and we're ending here. Mm-hmm. and then she'll give me an idea on, okay, I'd like to go here and we'd like to go here and here. And then we just start tossing that one around for a while. And because I know the areas and know different ways to go, and luckily I understand the competition. That's a big part of it, because
mm-hmm.
Rolling it all together. And then we just start bouncing ideas around. It's like, hey, let's try this, going over through these mountains, or use this BLM district, or try something new. Hey, there's more sand dunes over here, or there's more mountain driving over here. So we start mixing it up, and it just kind of you just shake it out, and a lot of times I have to take her someplace that she's never been, because sometimes it's like, I don't know about that, and I'm like, I know, that's why we're going to go there, and you see, and then it's like, oh, we have to use this, so
that's cool. All of us, it's a coveted thing if you get to come out and pre-run with Jimmy and Emily. Jimmy, that's a good thing.
Yeah. I always tell people. I mean, and even if you're doing the competition like as a competitor and you're here to get points, or you're doing it more like, hey, I want to go see some of the best dirt roads and some of the most awesome scenery in the whole United States or in the world, really. I mean, in the scenes that you see when they're shooting the video, the pictures you see from this event. That's all over out here, and I think a lot of people are pretty surprised. It's like, that's in my backyard. I mean, it's you're just a few hours from LA, and you're a few hours from Tahoe, and a few hours from Las Vegas, and it's kind of in your backyard. You could come out here and.
I know Emily's talked sometimes about maybe doing some guides, some basic Rebelle guides, and you come out and do training and come and experience this land. Yeah. Another interesting point to note is that Jimmy's wife, Heather, competed in 2017, and they own a motorcycle off-roading. Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that.
So we basically, mostly we take guys that have been riding for a while, guys and girls have been riding for a while, and just help them elevate their riding game.
Awesome.
It's one of my many, many jobs.
So quick question before we go over and talk to Chris about safety. Give us a little bit of insight into tomorrow.
So tomorrow is kind of what we'll call it. Yeah, we'll call it a transfer day. So we've been here driving around this area for 2 days, and tomorrow we're going to head south down to Ridgecrest area. Mm-hmm. And so it's a really long spread out day. Competition wise, I think it's kind of easy. Because you have to keep moving. You can't really stop. Like today, there's a lot of times when you're probably out of the car for a little while, really picking your points, choosing which ones am I going to go get, and how much time can I don't want to call it wasting time, but how much time can I spend? Where tomorrow we've got to keep moving, and the same thing. We go through some sand dunes tomorrow, little sand dunes. They get a taste of that. Beautiful in the Owens Valley. Most people have driven up and down Highway 395. It's the way everybody goes up to Mammoth and stuff like that, but not the way we're going.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what is your favorite part of this year's course? Like, what do we look forward to? Where is the Jimmy spot this year? The bit that you, I'm sure, made the most difficult.
Not most. In all honesty, it's like where the scenery and stuff is, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's today.
Absolutely.
Today's really good, and in reality, there was a lot of stuff that we had to switch up, couldn't use. Just things changed. Where I still have a lot of stuff in my back pocket. It can get way better. Mm-hmm. But I think I like this. I like this kind of. I mean, the roads here are these beautiful 2 tracks that just go on forever and ever, and some of them. I guarantee you find the girls that were out in the beginning, mm-hmm. the openers, and they'll say that they were the first tracks on a lot of the roads. And I know it because when I was out setting the points, and a lot of times I go opposite different ways, so that when I put the track there, the only track that was there was the one that we left 4 or 5 months ago when we went and scouted.
So what you're saying is it's not always obviously a dirt road. It's just an open.
Well, no, it's always a road. It's an existing road.
Just new tracks.
Yeah, you can look at it, but imagine this, but it looks kind of like this, except you can kind of see that there's a road going. It's used so little. They're old mining roads, or they're ranch roads that go out to wells and fences. They go to fences and different things. So the
scenery, like those mines we found, that was 120 that just went past us, and 125. Where I met you earlier, those old mine shafts. I mean, really, a girl from New Zealand, when I first hit Nevada in 2017, it was just mind-blowing, and I know all the competitors are feeling the same way. So thank you so much for coming up and meeting us, and now we're going to go to a proving ground video, I think.
I think so civil when she's interviewing me.
The Rebelle is this incredibly unique proving ground because it's so authentic. It will throw everything it's got at a person, a product, or a vehicle, and that's weather, temperature, altitude, and terrain. The Rebelle really gives people and companies a chance to try their vehicle in every type of environment that it was designed to be driven in. People don't realize that these are engineering masterpieces. Especially in the women's market, it's really important that the Rebelle is not a watered-down event. It is tough for anyone at any level.
I have a lot of respect for the other women who are in stock vehicles because this is not easy. I love that it's an opportunity for ladies to get together, to challenge themselves mentally, physically. The 8 days of competition is extremely demanding. You get an opportunity to step out of your comfort zone and push yourself to the next level.
The Rebelle is designed for the vehicles in our driveway, not for race cars, tube chassis vehicles. They're street legal cars that we drive every day. It was great to see the engineers at Honda really step up and say, this is where we want to test our vehicles.
At Honda, everybody has such a specific expertise within the company, and so this really allows them to, get a broader vision and exposure to the vehicle as a whole rather than just their own specialized component.
I really love our partners because they want our feedback. They want us to tell them what's working and what isn't working. We went the extra mile with this proving ground by putting in our technology partner, Mapbox.
It's a really exciting opportunity for us to get to work through the hardest questions that we have as a company trying to build a platform. What we need is to be able to give human beings better ways of making decisions and interpreting information. And so this is a really good, very close feedback loop between the paper map and the human being, and then you have to go out into the real world and find that place.
Seeing what's on the map versus how we've designed it is really a proving ground for what is our understanding of what a map means to someone.
What Mapbox is able to do is to take all this data and be able to put it into a map and a dashboard that companies can literally show to the world, or they can be sitting in an office halfway across the country or the world and be watching real time or near real time their product performance. And that is unique. It may be this analog event, an analog competition, but it has this incredible technology backbone that we built into it. We don't say that the Rebelle is going to change your life. We just say that we've created a platform and it's your movie. But what we've seen and how we've seen people change is incredible.
I thought I was going to come into this learning a lot about navigation and driving, and I think the biggest thing I've learned about is about teamwork and perseverance and, letting other people believe in you more than you believe in yourself until you believe in yourself as much as they do.
Crossing the finish line on the final day of the Rebelle Rally is a badge of honor because you have just gone through everything that we could throw at you, and you survived it. I always say that the Rebelle is like this Wizard of Oz journey, that whatever lesson you need to learn, it's going to be handed to you on the Rebelle.
Welcome back. I'm here with Chris Walker, our resident Rebelle trainer, and we are just going to go over some of our safety equipment. It's the first time that the live crew has been out in the field. It's been a great show to date. We've seen a lot of cars go by. We've seen epic views of Nevada, and this whole day was about showcasing the landscape of Nevada. We just heard from Jimmy Lewis, who said that that was the goal of the day. Emily Miller told us that it was all about knowing where north is and getting your bearings. So I'm going to come around the back here, Chris, and the competitors have to go through technical inspection, and so do the staff. And in the back of our vehicle, we have to have certain things. Do we have a spare tyre?
We do. Underneath our car, yeah.
How about a water can?
We do, yeah. So
hydrate or die in the desert, as my husband says. So we've got plenty of water, perfect, and we've got loads of water in the live drive as well. A whip and flag. We don't have our whip and flag with us today because
later in the week.
Oh, okay. But we don't need it because we're not in the dunes today. Fire extinguisher, super important today.
I think that's actually right now with the with the state of the wildfires in California and the Pacific Northwest. It's probably one of the most important pieces of kit, hopefully the least used piece of kit that we have with us. As Jimmy and the rest of the team have talked about, the competitors are out there are maneuvering their cars throughout the course, throughout the day, but they're having to stop their vehicle in certain places to navigate, make sure they're in the right place, figure out where they're going next. And what they're really encouraged to do is to park their vehicle in a safe spot, just like we've done on the dirt here where there's no brush there. But you know, the stresses of competition, sometimes you miss those small points, and what we want to try and avoid is a vehicle parking on top of a brush with a hot engine, hot exhaust. And if that happens, we want to make sure that they've got a method of trying to take care of it if it's safe for them to do so.
And the competitors all have satellite phones, and we have a very strict safety protocol. If they see flames, they call 911, they call the sat phone straight away. It's really important that we're vigilant about that. What about night visible devices, Chris?
We have some, but they're tucked away in the front of the kit, in front of the vehicle.
And
there.
A first aid kit?
Yeah. Small first aid kit. Every vehicle, every team has to have a first aid kit.
I'm driving with a really safe team, aren't I? Aren't you feeling safe, Will? I feel very safe. Survival supplies.
Again, tucked away in the front. We're hopefully not going to use that stuff, so it's a little bit more buried there.
He's talking about the scotch. And a tracking unit.
So every single vehicle has a tracking unit. I think we've touched on that a little bit over the week. You can see ours mounted up there in the side of the vehicle, and we have an external antenna for this.
Let's have a look at the one on the roof. Do we have the yellow tracking device?
It is, but we have that. If come on around here, sorry. We have an external antenna right back there.
Our partner YB Tracking tracks all of the vehicles all of the time. Talking of vehicles, we have one coming down the road right now, Will, right behind you. I can't see, it's a, who is that? Hold on, they're clambering down. That is 107. Woo, ladies! Okay, back to safety. What are we up to? We've seen our tracking unit, our satellite phone.
We have a satellite phone right on your waist there, which is
PTT on.
push-to-talk system. So all of the field crew that's out here on the course, we have a system where we can. I can show you. I'm not going to activate it, but it's an Iridium ICOM push-to-talk satellite communication device. It's essentially like a walkie-talkie or a VHF radio, but we have instant communications across the entire course from one end to the other. VHF is a little distance limited, a little bit of limited line of sight, so this is a really fantastic system. And then we also carry a little bit similar, but a true traditional satellite phone in case this decides not to work for us.
And so we're super lucky. I'm going to come over here and speak to you. We're stoked to have Iridium as a partner, and then ICOM, who supplies the ICOM radios, Road Post, who supplied us with the satellite phones, and YB Tracking. And it's a pretty fitting day to speak to Iridium, because if you're watching back east, Iridium, Susie's nailed it today, and can't wait to get back and see how her day went. So thank you very much,
no problem.
Chris.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. We're going to go to the YB tracker right now and have a look at the vehicles coming in. So on the tracker, I think I'm getting it in my ear, so bear with me. 177 Jeep Thrills is coming over the pass. 177 is the Benzies. Actually, that's a great team to have passing us shortly, because the Benzies were the first off the line this morning. They won the Enduro yesterday, and so that put them first off the line. And we're really excited to see their Enduro in vehicle. We put a camera in their vehicle this morning, and we're going to be able to see the Benzie. We call it the Benzie proprietary method of TSD. So we're pretty excited to see that, and we'll put together a piece to show you that tomorrow. But I think that I'm going to sign off now. I want you to follow us on social, because we have some incredible photographers this year, and we have our first hit tomorrow is going to be the start at 6:50. So Matthew and I will be there bright and early. I think I might get up with the Rebels again. So follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and always go to rebelrally.com to look at the scoring. And don't forget to download the YB tracking app. Stoked to see you tomorrow and looking forward to getting back for a cold drink. Good night.
Life can throw you a curve, send you down an unexpected path. But navigating the rocky moments is part of the adventure. To help you discover what's been missing.
Bandit! Why did you run off?
Introducing the 2021 Telluride Nightfall Edition.
Iridium is more than just a satellite company, making connections anywhere, to anything, or anyone. There's no other network like it. Operating in low Earth orbit, Iridium is still the only commercial satellite system where calls and data are passed from satellite to satellite. Safety and reliability are in Iridium's DNA. Trusted by people and organizations in some of the world's most challenging environments, Iridium remains committed to helping make the world a safer place. As we look to the future, the possibilities are endless.